Hello there, all my movie layers and movie layettes. Today we're doing a sort of different video because I want to talk about this movie called On Falling. And is it a bad movie? That's my question because you've probably never heard of this movie. And I don't see people talking about this movie at all. It's a new movie that came out in 2025, this year, as of recording. And like no one knows this movie, and for me it's such a masterpiece of a movie. But I can't find anything anywhere about this movie. I've stumbled upon this movie, and I watched it once, and I wanted to watch again, but I couldn't find any cinemas, movie theaters near me, or even online. I couldn't find. So what I'm going to do is a review, but what I can remember from what I watched um, last week. So let's just see how this goes. I just turn on the camera. I'm just gonna talk. It's gonna be a kind of a different video today because I'm not looking to make lots of editing. I think the movie it's very raw, and I think that's what I'm looking for with this review. I try to focus mainly on bad movies, but I couldn't find a review on this movie anywhere. So I guess someone's got to do it, right? And I want to talk about it. The movie is so special for me because it's like a Virginia Woolf book. If you ever read any of Virginia Woolf's books, it talks a lot about solitude, loneliness, depression, and this movie does have some of these topics. So if it's very sensible for anyone, or if anyone has like triggers, then maybe it's not the kind of video or movie, or maybe it is because of that. And to me, it was so important to watch, and it's a movie that lives in my heart. So just to refresh my memory, I'm gonna read here what's written on the IMDb page about the movie, like the description. The story focuses on Aurora, a Portuguese worker in a Scottish warehouse, navigating loneliness and alienation in an algorithm-driven gig economy as she seeks meaning and connection amidst solitude and workplace confines. So Aurora is the main character. She's a Portuguese immigrant in Scotland, and she works in one of those warehouses, like Amazon, for example. For anyone that is an immigrant living abroad, this movie resonates so much. Or even if you have problems connecting to other human beings, it's a very touching movie. It's not dramatic by any means. It's a drama, of course, but like so much in the movie is not said, so you have to pay attention to what's going on in the screen because the main character also, she doesn't talk a lot, and she's like this representation of loneliness, like the character Shinji from Evangelion, for example. So it's very interesting. She lives in this house full of people, and all of them they work for the same company, so they share this flat. You probably paid by the the company. Like I've never worked in any of like Amazon, DHL, whatever, but it seems like a fucking shitty job. So yeah, but I have been to other shitty jobs, so I can relate at least a little bit. And what we have in the movie is she's not like the most talkative person. You know, this lonely person, in the back, if you can remember, this person that never talks anything in the back of the class, and no friends, no whatever. The bell rings, boom, I'm gone. That's the kind of character that Aurora is. And she's trying to find a connection with people and trying to find her personality. And it's very interesting. She always has her earphones on. She always has Instagram, playing reels. I guess it's sort of a modern problem that we are so surrounded by people, and still we're very lonely. Like most of us, at least, some of us at least. But I feel like that's something that has been talked over and over and over again. So, yeah, what I remember from the movie is she has this Portuguese friend, and they are working in the warehouse. They have this conversation, like, small talks, which is interesting. She has with this friend of her. And although they're living in another place and they're earning good money, I mean, define good, um, her friend is always borrowing money from her. It's very funny, actually. We all have like that sort of friend, like, oh, can you get me 50 just to get by for the weekend? So yeah, and they're having this talk, and Aurora mentions, the main character, that she hates grapes. Like she doesn't like the texture of something, whatever. But yeah, it's like this movie has so many scenes and parts that are important to the plot, and some other ones they just happen because it's like how real life happens, I guess. Again, it's like the Virginia Woolf books. You can have those books by Virginia Woolf, and then it's just talking about life, and it's so refreshing, it's so calming, it's so interesting. Like in Virginia's books, which are probably not related to the movie, but it feels very much. She would write for like 5 pages or so, 3 pages. It sounds very boring in theory, but for me, it's very interesting. She would write about a fly in the room passing by, what she's doing. She would write about people making little construction with cakes. Does this make sense? Like when you get like a piece of cake and then you do it like this in your hand, it's like a little ball. I used to do that so much as a kid, and I would never remember that if it wasn't for Virginia's Woolf books. Yeah, it makes sense for me at least. So that's what I think that happens here in this movie. Like she's always trying to make small talk with people at work, but it's always like that same boring shit. Like coworker talk, coworker music, whatever, Taylor Swift. And the movie has this very gray and blue tone to it, but just enough, not so much. And you have like, oh, how was your weekend? Oh, it's sunny today, it's so nice, that kind of thing. That is necessary, but it also gets so dull, yeah. And then she's talking with this guy. It seems to have like a love interest or something. It's like a guy with a ponytail, and they're like, oh, what do you like to do in your free time? She's like, I don't know very much. And you? And he talks like, yeah, I like to do the laundry. And yeah, this happens. Um, and some scenes after in the movie, and this is a very sensitive topic, I guess. We learned that this guy, he he's not there anymore. You know, he seemed like such a cool, friendly guy. Everything is all right, and then he's just not there anymore. He's not um, working there, and the way people react to this is they do what people do. You know, they get sad, but say, "Oh, he was such a nice guy." Make some jokes about it. Move to the next topic. That's how it is, you know. Life doesn't stop, I guess. So yeah, one of the next scenes, it's one new guy moves to the flat, this like shared apartment with 10 people or what. It's crazy, it's annoying. There's always someone making noise, there's always someone talking on the phone, there's always someone using the washing machine when you want to use it. But she meets with this really cool guy, kind of cute, not the most beautiful guy, just normal looking. And they begin to talk. The guy is very outgoing, you know, talkative. He's like this Polish guy. And it is not explicit in the movie, but you know, it looks like she's having some interest in this guy, and it's very interesting. You could kind of see them together or not. So yeah, one of these days, the guy invites her, like, "Oh, do you want to go to a club?" "Oh yeah, let's go to the club. I love the club." And she was like, "Yeah, do you want something to eat? Here, have something to eat. I have some grapes." And she eats the grapes, like in disgust. Not because she was hungry, because she hates grapes. More to be part of people, you know, like to try to integrate and be more normal. So yeah, it's a very interesting scene for me, like how people can leave aside their personality to be part of a group with people just for this desire for connection. We are social beings, after all. So yeah, they end up going to the club, and there is this very weird scene. Like, the guy is there, he's talking to her like normal, they're having their beers. And yeah, he's standing there. And she just goes on his shoulder and like puts her head, like, she could be just resting, but it seems as a sign that she likes the guy and she wants this connection. But of course, he gets a little uncomfortable, which is normal, I guess. It just seems like trying to go over the steps. Like, first you have the talking stage, you know. So yeah, just this. She wants to talk to people. She wants to participate, but it's chaotic, you know. She ends up dancing. It was ends up being nice. Okay. Um, and then about her work, it's fucking boring. Okay, it's fucking boring. As I think all of our works are, most of our works, you know. She has like this scanning machine. She goes there, scan things, and it seems that she's always seeing life pass by from a window, or she's in a train, which is her life, and she's watching all this scenery of people living their lives. Because, for example, when she's scanning the items, it's like a warehouse to send things to through mail. She sees like a book of recipes. So you know, somewhere in the world, someone it's getting a new hobby, it's learning how to cook, and it's very interesting. You see a cradle for a baby, like baby dolls. So you know someone got a new baby, they're having the time of their life or something. Um, you see dildos, boxes of, um, and then you're like, oh, someone's lonely or someone's got a new toy or whatever. Or whatever, you see. She just see these things and they are like part of people's lives, and she's not living her life. She's at work, she's doing the laundry. You never see her going to a restaurant or something. um, but yeah. And then after a while in the movie, she has her other Portuguese friend, and her Portuguese friend got accepted for work in her native country in Portugal, that is, and they're gonna pay well. She's super happy, she's super cool, and she's like, yeah, you should look for something too, you know. And right on, she looks for something and she gets an interview, and you have like this kind of breaking moment for me, like, because she has this interview and then she goes to talk with her managers, and she's like, yeah, I have this interview on this day, yada yada. Can you guys make the day free open for me, like leave it free so I can go? And they're like, yeah, actually we can't, you have to do it in this app, whatever. So it's all this big algorithm based thing. No one kind of really cares. It's not like you're a human, you know. You're like a tool at work. And yeah, she just say, okay, well, I can't, I guess. And she ends up just getting a sick leave to go to this interview. And it's a very social work, and she's not like this social person, you know. You have like these scenes in the movie where she's like eating pasta, eating sandwiches, and it's so interesting. It stays like for 2 minutes on her like eating a sandwich, and it has like this little scenes where she's just like listening to music, and you know when you eat a sandwich or whatever, and you have this little, and then you have like these little breadcrumbs in your finger, and you sort of, I don't know. This is something you not see in every movie. Like, it's not something you would see in a Marvel movie, but it's just so raw. You know, it helps me to connect with the character. So yeah, she goes to her job interview, and it's a very social job. And she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm very fit for this job. I'm very good because I have experience here. I did this." And no, actually, she said, "I don't have experience." And they're like, "No, don't worry. This is not a problem." And she's like, when can I start? When is the payment? Because for some people, it is such a big thing. You know, you have like people that don't have to work, don't have, yeah, don't have to work even, or don't have to worry so much about work. But then you have people living paycheck to paycheck. That's my team. That's the kind of person I am. And she's like worried. She's like, when is the payment? If I start working on this day, when? And she's like, yeah, no, don't worry, it will get on this day. But the sort of interview we are doing here is that we want to know who you are. And then she sort of just breaks down because she's like, who am I? What do I like to do? You know, when someone asks you, like, what are your passions, whatever, in school or in a job interview, and then you're like, what are my passions? Like, who am I really in this alienated job thing? Like, and then she just starts to lie and lie and lie, and she says, no, I went to a vacation in the Bahamas because she saw this book about the vacations in Bahamas at her work. And she's, yeah, I like to go to the club, I go to restaurants. And I think we've all been there in a situation that we just lie, not like to cover this truth. Sometimes, if not about this, about something else, you know. She ends up not getting the job, of course. And oh, I'm sorry, I don't have a script to this. I'm so bad with telling stories. Before she gets this job, you know, she's not like the kind of person that wears makeup, But before this, she's like, oh, you know what? I want to go on an adventure. I want to put some makeup before I go to work. I'll buy something different. I'll get some cake, like little treats to yourself, you know. So she treats herself. She's all nice. She's all good. And then she goes to this makeup place, and she's like, "Oh, I want some makeup." And then the girl's like, "Oh, what kind of color do you like?" And she chooses like blue, like something like as blue as this, and just like the singer from ABBA in the Gimme song, she's like all blue here, like the ergo proxy thing, and it looks really nice. Like you're kind of happy for her because you're like, oh, you're finally being yourself. That's so interesting. And um, she tells this girl that is making the makeup for her. She's like, oh yeah, I'm doing this because I have a job interview. And then she's like baffled. She's like, what? You have a job interview and you're going with this blue thing? No, that's like for going at night, going out at night or something, like going to a club. No, I really don't think you should do this. And Aurora, this character, she just bends to that will, you know, she's just like, you can see she doesn't agree with that. But she's like, just because she doesn't want to fight or she doesn't, she's like, yeah, I guess you're right. And then she changes the color, like, it breaks my heart. Like, why? But regardless, that's what she do, and she goes with this normal looking makeup to the job interview. And as I said before, it didn't go well. She didn't get the job. She continues at work. She's an example of a good worker. And what does she get in return? Well, we have a little Mars bar for you here. Take it. So yeah, and they have like this useless meetings at work. Everyone being there, and they're like, "Oh, we're so happy to have you guys here," but it's just talking and talking and talking. You know, sometimes people are talking to you, and you're not even listening because you're just so lost in all this corporate bullshit. And so many people have different ways to deal with pressure and loneliness and whatever. And what she has is like, some people smoke, some people take painkillers, some people, I don't know, some people smoke weed, some people party, some people do YouTube videos, whatever. And the thing that she does, it's she eats candies. So she's progressively eating more and more sugar in the movie. But of course, it doesn't end bad for her. And she's just like in this place of like, where am I? Who am I? Like, what am I? You know? And she ends up breaking down in a park. No crying, nothing so dramatic. She's like fainted on the ground. And then you start to imagine like, what happened? Is this the climax? The movie is gonna end? Did she do something bad with herself? But not really. She she was just having a breakdown, and then someone comes to help her and is like, oh, are you okay? I called the ambulance, like they're coming, you're gonna get help. And she's like, no, I'm fine, I can't help myself. And it's like this, you know, you always feel responsible for how you feel, and you are responsible for fixing all of that shit, you know. And it's not like that. Sometimes it's outside stuff also plays a big role, you know. The weather, the people, the work, everything. And the movie comes closest to the ending, but before getting to the ending, I want to say that for me, Aurora is such a empathetic character. If you couldn't tell that already, I see myself a lot in this character. Um, And there is a scene in the movie. It's so good. She, I think, it's the scene of the movie. There is one of those conveyor belts. I think that's how it's called, and it's just going with the boxes up and up and up. And then you see this little box in this conveyor belt, and it's just rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling and not going up nor going down. It's just keeps on falling. Whoa, he said the name of the movie. Wow. But that's how she sees herself. You know, there's always something. Well, at least that's my interpretation of the movie. And it's very subtle, very interesting. Also, so many times she's working at the warehouse, and sometimes you can see which items she's packing and which items she's not packing. And so many times she sees ropes in the movie, and it has a representation for something quite dark in the movie. And then you can see that she's trying to help people as much as possible. So maybe it's just a rope, maybe it's nothing, but maybe it's something else, you know. And then she just trades the items. She's like, no, I'm not gonna send this fucking rope. Like, no. That's what she tries to do, some good with what she can, you know. And then we get close to the ending scene. I guess I've yapped a lot already. I have no idea for how long the camera is on. But we get close to the ending of the movie, and it's very interesting and very touching. Well, not very touching, but it's very interesting, because so many times you have a climax, something big happens, someone gets saved, she gets cured for she discovers what's going on. But what really happens is the system where she works, the computer system, for the internet, whatever, goes down, and there's nothing to do. You know, everyone has had something like this at their work, maybe. I had this in Starbucks, for example. Like, all the coffee machines broke. We didn't get coffee, so we just sat there for a while doing nothing. So it's very interesting. So they have like this situation, and everyone's like playing games. Everyone is like talking, eating something, because they're just waiting. Maybe they'll stay the whole day like this. And the movie ends with this scene where she's just playing ball, a sort of soccer, like, with her colleagues. And it's interesting. It's one of the first times in the movie where you can see her laughing and maybe being herself. And the movie ends. There's no explanation. Did she get over it? Did she eventually find a better job? It's just real life. It's just the real life story of so many people. And I definitely think it's very interesting of a movie. I don't know how many people reach with this video, but I do hope it reaches the right audience. It's like that writing from John Green, you know. It's like, for him, writing is like he's writing for years and doing things for years, and then he's just like calling people like Marco, 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 and then after years someone reads it, in my case watches it, and say, I can resonate with that, I can understand that, and says, Polo, you know. It's this. I just wanted to do this video. I hope you guys liked it. Life here in the jungle, it's very nice. I'm still reviewing bad movies, but I don't think On Falling it's a bad movie at all. I think it's a perfect movie, and it is in my top 10 movies of all time. I wish I could find where to watch it, but right now there's nowhere. But I'm really happy to do this review, and yeah, I hope you liked it. If you like my work, if you want to see more things like this, subscribe, give me suggestions, say what you think about it, whatever. Thank you very much.